Raed Jarrar, who's an Arab-American political advocate and policy director at Democracy in the Arab World Now. He's in Washington, D.C. Welcome to you, Raed. I want to stick with the question I was just discussing with our correspondent. So if Donald Trump has sold this concept of a peace deal, is it a peace deal that works? Is there substance to it? And do you think it's going to last the test of time? Or is it really just a peace deal in terms of appearance?
I don't think it's a peace deal at all. It's not a bad ceasefire agreement that came to fruition because of the international pressure, because of regional powers talking to Trump about the need to get to a ceasefire deal. Peace is very far away from ceasefire. I think many Palestinians are celebrating the end of genocide, but we're very far away from having a comprehensive vision for dismantling Israel's apartheid and occupation. So calling this a peace deal is a stretch. It's definitely a ceasefire deal that would stabilize Gaza and maybe the West Bank. Maybe it will create a path for peace in the future, in our lifetime. But this is definitely not a peace deal yet.
And the obvious things that could go wrong, just a few examples. What if Hamas decide they won't disarm? What if Israel decides it won't withdraw its army completely from the Gaza Strip? What if Israel says we're not okay with a Palestinian state, which is something that is mentioned within Trump's 20-point plan, the steps toward a Palestinian state, and Netanyahu said he'll never allow a Palestinian state. If any of those or any other things go wrong, what happens next? Who's going to come in and stop the fighting from resuming?
Israel will definitely say this, and Israel is not going to hold Israel accountable. Israel is not going to end its racism and occupation and apartheid by itself. Israel is 100% going to say that. I think the idea behind Trump's plan that was supported by the international community is that this does internationalize the occupation. It does internationalize the genocide. It does internationalize Israel's role. So there is more leverage by major players, including the United States, which has been a partner in genocide and occupation, to actually stop Israel and make them change their mind. Now, the answer to your question in short is that there is this mechanism being created called the Peace Council or something, which many of these countries that signed the deal today will be on it. They're supposed to actually be involved in resolving issues moving forward. I think many of these issues that you mentioned are difficult to resolve. The bigger issues to resolve is how do we end Israel's apartheid? How do we end the rule of a racist state that sees Palestinians as second-class humans? These are issues that are extremely difficult to even envision a resolution to. And I don't think Israel will do the right thing just by themselves. What we will see eventually is the international community making Israel do the right thing, the same way that the international community made apartheid South Africa do the right thing.
Benjamin Netanyahu was well on with a plan to push Palestinians out of Gaza, to demolish the Gaza Strip entirely, also to annex the occupied West Bank. He effectively got to the point where he was splitting it in two to make a Palestinian state an impossibility. How are we to believe that he has just gone, OK, I'm going to abandon all of those plans? How did Donald Trump get Netanyahu to step down?
He hasn't abandoned any of his plans. These plans have been in his head for decades. Netanyahu and the Israeli government, this is not just about Netanyahu. This is about the Israeli government, which Netanyahu represents. But even if Netanyahu disappears tomorrow, this government will be as racist and genocidal as he is. These plans exist there. There is no way to make them change their mind on their own. Thinking that Israel will stop being a racist and apartheid state on its own is a joke. Of course, they want to annex the West Bank. Of course, they want to erase Palestinian identity, whether it was in the West Bank or Gaza or inside 48 or even in the diaspora. Of course, they're going to do this. This is not up to them. This is up to the international community. So the answer to your question is this. Israel's plans, I don't think they have changed, but they have run out of resources to do them. Once the U.S. President picked up the phone and said, stop, they had to stop because they have no capacity, they don't have weapons on their own, they can't stop UN Security Council resolutions on their own. They are reliant on the United States to commit their genocide and apartheid. They might be hoping for a change in direction from the US where they can go back to their original plan. So from our perspective, anyone who has fought against the genocide, the work is not done. We have to push as much as we were pushing. We have to dismantle the machine that produced the occupation, apartheid, and genocide. And we have to continue to push for international accountability and work outside of Israel to hold Israel accountable.
Thank you, Raed. Raed Jarrar is my guest. He's Policy Director at Democracy in the Arab World Now.